What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining in today. Today I have a very special video for you, and I'm showing you how I beat the final boss on hard in Dead Cells. So this was something that I was waiting for a very long time. If you've been following me on my stream or my videos, you know that I've been struggling with this, and of course I would finally get that W off my actual live stream. I was doing a silent stream just to fit in a little bit of practice on this game because I was tired of showing you guys all of these videos where I'm just losing over and over and dying over and over. So I was doing some practicing, and of course I have this amazing run. Seriously awesome. I even surprised myself with a lot of these fights and how well I did. So I'm going to show you how I got there. It's going to be a little bit different than my usual videos, of course, because I can go through and explain exactly what I did and do kind of like a retrospective on it. So let's jump into it. You're seeing the beginning of my run here. Not a lot of important things, but I'm going to start cutting to the really crucial and important parts and all the highlights for you. So stay tuned, check it out. Alright, so the first major thing that happened to me was during the first checkpoint. So I was able to make the first bonus door, which is under 2 minutes. So in this particular room, I do a little bit of pondering. I'm not sure which of these items that I really want, but eventually what you'll see me do is take the spiked shield. So if you know me, I usually don't really like the shields, but what I was thinking is there is a mutation where we can have a shield in our backpack, and every single time we roll, we parry as well. And I did see that this item has a freeze enemies blocked with a parry type of trait, and I was thinking, I know that carries over with the roll mutation, where if it's in your backpack, you parry and then you will freeze them if you have a successful parry. So I was thinking, that might be really interesting to try out, and so I picked up the shield, put it in my bag, and kind of just kept it there for a while. I didn't actually take the mutation of Armadillopack right here. I always take No Mercy first, so that's the mutation where everything dies a little bit quicker. For enemies, it's 15% quicker. For bosses, I think it's 7 or 8%. So we took those things from the first checkpoint, and then we moved on. Alright, so here I am in the Promenade of the Condemned. So I got really lucky, and while I was just exploring, I happened to defeat this enemy right here, and he dropped a wolf trap. So I am speccing into brutality, but I was thinking, okay, wolf trap is a great item. I know that it can really help with bosses, so I picked it up and I kept it in there. I was thinking I can switch this out later anyways. I don't have anything in there, but I end up using that wolf trap a lot, and I'm really glad I found it. And then upon further investigation of the map, I was just going through and just making sure that I explored everything, picking up any kind of gold or items that I could find. And I was lucky enough to go into this well here and find a Siamese slicer. So I don't have that great of items right now. I have a Maria's cat, which is not really that great. So I decided to replace the Maria's cat with the Siamese slicer, which specs with the brutality stat as well. And I'm thinking, if I'm going the trap route, then this sounds good. I can use the wolf trap to trap somebody into that trap, and then the Siamese slicer will continuously just do damage for me and make them bleed. So that's why I took that particular trap. Alright, so this is the passageway to the ramparts, so the checkpoint before the ramparts. So this is finally when I take up that mutation that I was just talking about, so the mutation of the Armadillopack. So I was considering some other mutations, but then I thought, okay, it's time to implement that plan where I have a shield in the bag, and every single time I roll, it's going to do something for me. So I end up taking the Armadillopack eventually. You see that I'm really pondering about it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that because I'm not speccing that many stats into survival, which is what that skill is relying on, but I thought the main purpose of having that particular mutation is to have that parry when you roll, and the survival stat really just increases the damage that is performed once you actually parry with your shield. So I was thinking the damage is secondary. I really just want that parry when I roll. So let's just take it up now anyways. If I really hate it, I can spec out of it later. But I end up not doing that. I really, really like it. And so we carry through in the ramparts. And yeah, we find some stuff here too. Alright, and this is the first game-changing item that I had found. So I ran across this treasure globe, or whatever you want to call them, within the ramparts, and after defeating all of the enemies to unlock that pickup, I noticed that it was a marksman's bow, and I'm noticing that it's really, really strong. It has a great trait right at the top, stuns the victim whenever you use it. So I'm thinking, you know, I have a lot of things going for me where I'm stunning the victim, freezing the victim. Let's go all in with that. And I have 2 melee weapons anyways right now, so I replaced one of them with the marksman's bow, and I'm really happy I did that because you'll see later on this weapon was scaling just fine even into the late game and really, really helped this build out. So really, really crucial towards the build that you're about to see. Alright, so we reached the passageway to the Black Bridge, so right before the first boss fight here, and what you'll see here is I pick up my last mutation, which is going to be the Instinct of the Master of Arms. So basically what this does is every single time you crit, your skill cooldowns are reduced by a certain amount. Right now it's like half a second or something like that. So every single time I crit, my traps will be quicker to use. So I have a critting bow, and I also have my melee weapons, which will, crit whichever way they can. So I'm thinking if I want to trap in all of the bosses or victims as soon as possible, that's going to help me. So here's the concierge fight. I couldn't even believe how well I did against the concierge myself. So as you can see here, I'm trapping him in, he's staying in there, and I'm able to use my marksman's bow to crit him over and over, which is reducing the cooldown on my wolf trap and my sinew trap. So I'm just going to keep trapping him into those traps and do damage and shoot him from far away to keep reducing those skill cooldowns. So as you can see, I actually didn't even get hit. And I don't know how I did it because I didn't think I would do it ever, to be honest with you, but I actually had a hitless run with him, so flawless victory against the concierge. At that point, I knew I had something good going on, and we have to keep going down this type of path for this type of build. And yeah, I just couldn't even believe that this build is going so well so far. Alright, so after the boss, I decided to go to the Fractured Shrines. I really like the Fractured Shrines. I didn't think I would, but I do like this area because it always has a guarantee to lead you to some really, really decent weapons. Sometimes they won't fit your build or they won't be your favorite weapons or whatever, but they always have these pathways that will give you very, very high rarity items. And so I wanted to take a chance on this map and this biome. This is the first door, and it gave me another game-changing item here. So I take a look at this Assassin's Dagger, and I'm thinking, I know how to crit with this, and this melee weapon can crit over and over and over again. So I replace my current weapon with it, and this legendary Assassin's Dagger is something that really carries me through. Every time you're behind an enemy, if you slash them, you're going to crit them, and this weapon has a huge damage range anyways, so I'm really one-hitting everything as long as I'm behind them from this point forward. Alright, so I move on to the clock tower here, and as you can see, even with elites, I'm just absolutely destroying them as long as I'm using my weapons correctly. So I just set my traps on that elite and stood far back and started shooting him here. And I'm going to rewind and show you something that's great about the Armadillopack. If you just saw that, this particular enemy dropped a grenade, and then what happened after I rolled towards him was that that grenade turns into my grenade. So just take a look, it's happening right here. So that kind of stuff happens all the time. You can do that to any enemy that shoots a grenade thing, or you can even do that to some of the traps that shoot projectiles to you. So you're probably constantly rolling because I think it's slightly faster than walking, and also it's just nice to dodge around. So I found that there was a huge amount of benefit to having the Armadillopack, and it really, really helped me. But, you know, it didn't help me against these environmental traps that I was just talking about. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with me. I just couldn't avoid them, and I actually almost died by the traps right there, and that happens a few times in this map. Yeah, again, I don't know what was going on. I think that I was just so excited about the super strong build that I was lacking my attention to the other things in the game. So yeah. Alright, now moving on to the clock room. So we have the timekeeper in this room, and I had some really high hopes for this fight because of how the first boss fight had turned out, but I think that I just got too excited. I actually roll right into the first attack here, and I actually do quite poorly throughout the whole fight. But to be honest, I'm so strong that I don't have that much trouble with it. I'm just not performing as well as I can, but you're seeing that the Armadillopack helped me avoid some of that damage there. I could have been a little bit more careful and just waited for my traps to trap him in and start shooting him with the bow, but you know, it wasn't that hard, didn't take too much damage, but I was really looking for that flawless again. Probably could have done it with a little bit more attention, but you know, it didn't happen. Maybe next time. And then we move on to High Peak Castle. You know, High Peak Castle is High Peak Castle. It's a super long stage where you collect the keys. There's some tough enemies in here, and I definitely got hit a few times, but I am doing a ton of damage, as you can see here. So with the bow, I'm getting people from far away. This guy was a little bit tricky. I wasn't sure how to parry him, but I parried him there, and he's frozen from that trait from the Armadillopack shield. So as you can see, we're seeing a lot of value from there. And I just go through, collect all the keys. I'll show you a little bit of the fight over here with the first elite, but basically what you're about to see here is what happened throughout the whole stage. So I don't want to go too far deep into what happened in High Peak Castle because it's not all that interesting. I basically just trap all the elites, do that with them, so as they're in the wolf trap, just shoot them down and collect all the keys, and then kind of move on to the last boss, of course. Alright, and onto the throne room. I have to say my hands were sweating at this point. I was so nervous, I was excited, I was eager, I was anxious, I was everything, but I was just preparing myself to make sure that I'm watching out for those, you know, those indications where I can deliver a crit, put him in a trap, hit him in the back with my dagger, and as you can see, his health bar is just dropping rapidly. It's chunking out there. I couldn't believe the amount of damage I was doing. It's all thanks to the legendary weapons that I found. These spawned elites don't do anything to me. I just lay my traps again, thanks for the crits type of thing, and then he tries to get me with a couple of different attacks. My Armadillopack again helps me reflect those bombs on the ground with rolling through them, and he's dead. It was so quick, I couldn't even believe it. I feel like I've had longer fights with him when I get him where I get him only down 10%, and I defeated him within what, 15 seconds or something right there. So it was absolutely amazing. I was so happy. We're on to the next difficulty level. I think that the build that you're seeing here is something that I'm going to try to carry through into the other difficulties. So stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope this helps you out if you are having trouble getting through the first difficulty like I was. Traps are really great. Watch out for those vital mutations that you're going to pick up. You can only do 3, so they have to be really vital for your build. Don't just take them willy-nilly type of thing. But anyways, stay tuned. I will be doing more videos on the next difficulty. Hopefully we have some more success. I'll catch you guys again soon. See you later.